We're doing something here today that in all the years I've been with Kelpro, I don't think we've ever done. We actually have prototyped a piece of software without having a customer or without directly working with the customer initially, and so now we've got a prototype that we're going to bring to you all as the customers and get your input and then hopefully finish development. So it's a little different than what we're used to doing. Usually we have a customer working with us each step of the way, even during the initial layout. So I hope that we haven't gone too far off course. How many of you are familiar with the MUTCD manual? I see a few hands. At least we're familiar with it. In section 2A.08, it states that public agencies or officials having jurisdiction shall use an assessment or management method that's designed to maintain sign retroreflectivity at or above minimum levels in table 2A-3. What I am being told is that that management method needs to be in place by January 1. Now, I'm getting a lot of my information second and third hand, so you may know more than I do about it, or some of you may be hearing this for the first time. I've had several people tell me that that was things that were new information to them. What we have done is tried to create a system that provides you with a way of keeping track of the inspections and replacements of the signs. And, okay, our systems, there we go. I see an image starting to appear. Hopefully, yes. All right, let's see if this one works now. Nope, we're still off to the side. There we go. Bingo.
Just push the wrong button.
All right, helps if you push the right button. Isn't that the way it usually is with computers?
Technology's wonderful.
Yes, can't live with it, can't live without it. Okay, this is, in case any of you are wanting to know where we are getting some of our information from, this is page 30 of the 2009 MUTCD, and they are showing down here, as I read it, 6 different methods. I think it was 6. 6 different methods of either inspection or sign replacement. They've got your visual nighttime inspection, your measured sign retroreflectivity, your expected sign life, the blanket replacement. And then on page 31, they have your table here for the minimum levels. Then they go down to point E, which is control signs, and then F is other methods. So by my understanding, you can choose from those A through F methods of inspection and replacement. We are not here to dictate or necessarily even suggest what you use. We're here trying to provide a tool to help you as you implement that. What we're doing is, excuse me, first of all, we're implementing this there are 2 new things here. In the past, all of our software has been written so that it was actually installed on your computer and the data was stored on one of your computers. We've made a change. Technology, of course, as you know, keeps marching on, and perhaps some of you have heard TV commercials talking about the cloud, where data is stored out on the internet. We are doing something similar. We are actually, in our new systems now, going to be storing the data out on the internet. It's going to be behind a firewall. It's going to be secured. But this means that rather than you having to have equipment to store the data on your local machines, you will be able to access that data through any machine that has a compatible internet browser. we're currently recommending Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. We anticipate that Internet Explorer 9 will work as well eventually, but there are a few issues with it at this point. So whether you are sitting in your office working from your computer there, or whether you are working off of a laptop, or whether you are working off of your iPhone, you'll be able to access the same data because you're going to be accessing it through an internet browser. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log into this system here. And each site will have its own unique login and password so that you can get to the data. And what I'm going to show you here is some of what we have anticipated that you may need and built into the prototype. We anticipate that there will be changes as the system matures, but we started off with, we know that we had to have some site information. We had to know what county, what district, who the commissioner is, and we wanted to be able to control, let you control with what frequency the signs were being replaced, if you were replacing them at a particular interval. We also wanted you to be able to control what the inspection frequency was. And so right now we have fields for all of that. We also know that you're going to need a way of keeping track of who's doing some of the work, who's doing the replacement, who's doing the inspections. We anticipate that you may have a need to know whether a particular individual is certified to do those inspections. And so we've given place here for what a person's certification level is and what their certification date was. I don't have any details yet as to what that data actually will be, and so we're just creating some data fields at this point to give you a place to put that information, and as it develops, then we may have to make some adjustments to the system. The main part of the system is going to give us a place where we can keep track of all the different signs that you have to inspect or replace. And I'm going to resize this a little bit here. We've got several, excuse me, we anticipate that there may be several different ways that you may want to keep track of the location of that sign. We know that for some offices, they may choose to locate that sign by its GPS coordinates. For some offices, they may choose to use a north, south, east, west coordinate. Other offices may, depending on the situation, either want to use a street name or a highway number and mile marker. And then we know that there's going to be those oddball situations where none of the above fits, and so we've given a free-form entry. We can sort this data by any one of those. If I want to sort this by street and highway, I can click on the top of that column and it will resort everything in order by that data. By the same token, if I want to go over and I want to look for my things in order by my north, south, east, west coordinates, if I click on that column, it'll resort all of my data into the order specified there. Some of the speed that you will see out of the system will depend on your internet access as well as the speed of your computer. I'm running off of a wireless connection right now, so if I were hardwired in, it might be running just a little bit faster. Let me go ahead and let me open up a record here so that we can actually look at some of these specific fields. Okay, as we talked about, we've got a place up here for our GPS location, our north, south, east, west, our highway and mile marker, our freeform. Then we wanted to know what kind of sign is it. And in this case, it happened to be a stop sign. I'm going to see if this will go just a little bit larger to make it a little easier to see. Yep. There we go. We also left fields here to find out what type of post is the sign mounted on. One office had suggested that it may be helpful to know, so that if you're going out to replace one, that you know what type of post you're going to need to take out there to replace if one's been knocked down. We wanted to know which side of the road or which corner of the intersection is the sign on. We anticipated that there may be some offices that have their signs numbered, whether it's a code for a particular kind of a sign or whether it's something other than a location code. Some of this remains to be determined, but I had seen some options where that may be something that some offices are tracking, and so we left a place for a sign number. Also left a place for a supplier name so that if you need to reorder, you know where those particular signs come from. We anticipate that some offices, some counties may choose to set this up as a county-wide system, and so we wanted a way to track individual districts within the county. And so if the county were to install this as one program, we could track individual districts within that county, and we could pull just the data for an individual district if we put data in here for the district name. We do have a place here where we can upload either a photo or video. That is an optional capability, but it does give you the ability where you can actually attach a photo of the sign. I've heard from at least one district where they were saved from a lawsuit because they had photo evidence showing that a sign was in place and there was an accident that occurred shortly thereafter, and they were able to prove, yes, as of such and such a date, the sign was there, and so they were able to save themselves legal problems. You will have the ability also to put video there, so if there's a reason to, because of the situation, to put more than just a photo there, you can. Let's see, I want to go to one that has some inspection history. We can see right here that this one here has a last inspection date. This one here has a last replacement date. So I'm going to go ahead and open that record up because I know that there is some history in there. And this is one of the things that we're anticipating is going to help you down the road. We can see that this particular sign was replaced on January 5th of 08 because it had been stolen, and William Smith was the person who replaced it. And then it was inspected on March 2nd of this year. It was a visual inspection in good condition, and it was inspected by John Doe. Now again, what data actually goes there will be determined by what your office uses. And so we're just creating methods or a tool for you to use in tracking that data. We do have the ability to limit our searches to certain data. I'm going to go back here to the main screen. Give the system just a moment to catch up with me here. There it goes. If I'm wanting to find just signs that are located in, say, a GPS location around the 35.8 area, I can put in 35.8 and the system will go through and do a search, and it's going to limit my results to just those with that data in it.